and gentlemen, our next speaker is with Consulmatic. How about a nice big round of applause for Jorge Higueros?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Jorge Higueros, and also my partner Jorge Hernandez helped me with my presentation. Okay, let's start. Trust management in monitoring financial critical information infrastructure and Nagios policy compliance. How Nagios help us in the organization to implementing international standards. How many people here use international standard like ISO 20000, ITIL V3, PCI? How many people use some standards? Okay. Do you know Nagios help with implement these standards? And in this case, my presentation is in banks. How help Nagios in the banks? Okay, the financial system include the core system, banking system, websites, payment systems, exchange, money supply, and financial regulations, government, as well accounting standard and regulation around the world. How Nagios help complies with this? Okay, the core business is financial intermediaries, financial service, markets, and regulations. We use common regulations in the world. The best practice is a better thing that we can implement in this business. Let's see. Nagios interacts BIA, business intelligence, risk analysis, identify strategic, BCP, update planning, security planning, upgrade planning, downtimes planning, and capacity planning. Nagios complies with this draw. Phase 1, Nagios help in business impact and risk analysis. And the second phase, identify and BCP, business continuity plan. 3 phase, design and develop a new rules inside. Okay. In the business impact, Nagios interact with this with BIA because I need help. Jorge Hernandez. Business impact and risk analysis. Nagios interact with these plans because we can prevent the risk in the infrastructure in the company, because we are proactive with identify risk, a possible risk in the servers, in the routers, and in the risk analysis we can do identify vulnerabilities and risks for the impact business in the company. Okay, the Nagios infrastructure, objects, Nagios and the status. For example, with objects in our network is database servers, switch and routers, servers, application servers, websites. Nagios interact with the core Nagios and plugins, performance data, and they have a continued check with all the dispositives. So, in this via business impact analysis, we can use some like that for test and the network and the communications around the infrastructure. Okay. Nagios has a status, browse, alerting, email, SMS, mail. We can help to proactive and in incidents in the network. Okay, the components in the IT infrastructure: compatibility, connectivity, modularity, IT personnel, strategic IT business, and alignment. How Nagios help to organizations to implement all these things? How do you believe Nagios help to IT personnel? What do you think? What do you think? How Nagios help the IT strategic business? It's simple. Nagios is a standard. It's developed in free software, and free software is standard. And we can alignment, government alignment with Nagios. Okay, properties. Flexibility of IT infrastructure, the script degree, and which IT resources are shareable, and how rapidly effective an IT organizations. Nagios responds to emergent needs and opportunities. We can see a lot of opportunities and needs and implementing Nagios, because Nagios is a system where we can work together and expand in all organization, and I feel so nervous. Sorry. And we have a lot of properties for this. Okay, IT capability. It's a combination, functionality, and connectivity between levels and gaps. Okay, if you see the graph, IT capability levels. Okay, we have basic, standardized, rationalized, and dynamic. We can identify access management. How? No common identify management model. Identify management as user identification, centralized configuration authentication, centralized with automated, and in this gap. We can use in the second with desktop engineering, because we have automated patch management standards, and Nagios can talk about when a PC needs updates, needs more memory, CPU, disk, and with this we can planning the upgrades for the PCs. Network provides security network and monitoring, because we can identify virus, trojans, hacks, and DNS hacking in the websites, and all is a remote server. Disaster recovery. All companies don't have a formal procedure for disaster recovery. The disaster recovery plans is our plan B when we have issues. How many people in this room has disaster recovery. Okay, do you have a disaster recovery for attack or DDoS attack? How many time you reaction from this type attack? For example, if somebody has attacked DDoS in the website, in how many time you execute this plan? 1 hour, half hour? What is the first line that you did after the attack? Hey. Yeah. Okay. Okay. With Nagios, can construct in plan disaster recovery, and we have a secure messaging infrastructure. All headache of the companies is, okay, my email server is down. What I do now? How time recover? How prevent the issues before they pass? Okay. IT capability. Nagios can compliance with all these levels. Okay, go next. How is the financial infrastructure? It's complex, need strategic resources, delivery. The systems, they are 99% up 24 hours, 36 days in the year. What do you believe if a bank don't compliance with uptimes? Lost clients, lost trust. What more? What happen more if a bank don't have a service uptime? Lost money? Just okay. The brand. Okay. How is the financial infrastructure? It's changing. It's a large maintenance. It's growing, and it's business process, it's information, applications, servers, building facility, and utility provider. Okay, these components is the essential for the financial. Always is changing because always has a new technology, new systems, new service provide to my clients. It's growing because the bank start 200 servers in this year, maybe the next year is duplicate this number of servers. Infrastructure's view, business analyst for end user or for system managers. Large maintenance. How many people works for maintenance this infrastructure? How many people do you believe works for this? 5 people, 10 people, a lot of people. In Latin America, for the this maintenance, maybe 5 people, and has maybe 200 servers for 5 people. How 5 people attend all servers? We need a tool that help us, help you at, for monitoring, for test information, monitoring applications, monitor hardware, and other things. How is the environment? The environment in this business is business process, quality of service, and downtimes. I have issues today. My server of credit cards is down. How many people is affected for these issues in a bank? It's a lot of customers don't use any credit card or debit card. This is a problem because we have a downtimes, we don't have a quality of service, and the business process can collapse. Okay. How is the infrastructure management in the past? It's manual optimizations of the resources, issues management process. Now, in Latin America, don't have a standard for monitoring infrastructure, and the optimization of resource is manual. Why? The system administrators has a checklist. Okay, one time for a week, check this principal server. Okay, how memory, how disk free, how disk used, how CPUs is manual. The issues process is when have an incident is before, it's after the incident. They don't have a process for know before the incident pass. With Nagios, change the management of the infrastructure because we can do a custom workflow and business process models, real time in execution because incident with Nagios prevent an incident. Internal external views, we can stay here and check on my cell phone how is my infrastructure now, increase the productivity and visibility. We can create a role-based management, and the goal is business process optimization because we can reduce the downtimes and we can increase the customer satisfaction. This is more important in this type of companies. Increase the customer satisfaction, remove inefficiencies, and process oversight. You understand my speech? Yeah? Okay. The goals are high availability, all service, 99% uptime, and prevention. The most important is the prevention in the incidents. High availability in financial institutions. All institutions has the service 24/7 days, and the applications because they compliance business agreements, service level agreements, and the banks are working ensure and continuity operations. For example, the data center, the principal data centers crash. What is my BCP and execute, and I need other data center. These companies in Latin America, they started and implement another data center after the principal for high availability. They need operations all day, all time, and they need a backups in the systems, in the database servers, in the informations. This is a good strategy for maintain the operations every day. Okay, Nagios bring the concept of high availability. Nagios XI delivery a solution ensure high availability centralization for management across the financial institution, because these institutions have a lot of applications and different heterogeneous platforms, technologies, operating systems, payments, trading, and always the infrastructure changing. For example, okay, the general manager has a new idea for change all credit cards and another system and implement the credit card since cell phone. Okay, you can make up payments of the cell phones. Okay, we need to create a new application for payments. Okay, for I say the infrastructure is changing, always changing, every day. What is the Nagios objectives? Eliminate impact of downtimes, reduce impact on planned downtime, provide end-to-end availability across the applications, reduce operation costs, standards, platform, Unix, Linux, and Windows systems. There are principal objectives with Nagios. Nagios in the financial world. Okay, business impact analysis, BIA, common. This consequence of disruption in the business, Nagios can prevent and interact with BIA because help to these graphs like this, and we can have operation all day. For example, with Nagios identify, okay, the core banking. Every 30 months, the memory is in 100%. Okay. Okay. I identify in the hardware. Every month, the memory is 100%. Okay. This is impact. High, medium, or low. What do you think? With Nagios identify one risk. The memory is the user 100% every month. This is a risk. For a company, it's a risk. For a customer, it's a risk. Okay, I identify a risk. So, it's a high. Okay, Nagios interact with the BIA. And other. For example, the mail service. Okay, all night the mail service down. It's a risk. How classify this risk? With Nagios can prevent downtimes in the mail servers. Okay. How many people affect if the downtime? Customers and 1,000. I don't know. Okay. This is the form with Nagios interact with the BIA. Okay. Okay. And should identify operational financial impacts and resulting of disruption of business functions. Lost sales, delayed sales, increase because the mail server's down. I have lost sales. I don't have communications inside, outside. Penalties, customer disaffections because we don't compliance with the times. With Nagios can do that. Identify risk vulnerabilities for the business impact analysis. Okay, go to the risk analysis. It's a process will identify potential risk inside the company and works together with the PIA for interruptions or sensitive critical information in the business process. Okay. We can identification risk and their causes, risk identification, risk analysis, monitoring and review, risk treatment. Okay, the first step is risk identification. How many risks we have in data center? How many risks? Tell me. Some risk examples. Double storage. Problems. Network problems. Okay. If you see, I have a lot of risk in the data center. Okay. The first step is identification. Now, risk analysis. How prevent this risk? How prevent? 3. Yeah. Okay. And after the third step is risk treatment. How prevent this risk, or how what is my fix for these issues? With Nagios, we can monitoring this risk because, okay, my disk is full, my SAN is full, I have less memory. All risk with Nagios I can monitoring and review, and Nagios compliance with the risk analysis. So it's simple. Nagios interact with standards, international standards, and help the organizations to compliance and implement this type of standard. Okay, identify strategy with Nagios. We can develop plans, program vision, project planning, success metrics, implementation roadmap, validation strategy, risk assessment, and these components, the plan, the design, the build, system configuration, integration with third-party systems, optimization of best practices, and deploy, QA validation, user training, knowledge transfer. We can do with Nagios and delivery system because we can create a program vision of all our organizations. We can project planning and the success metrics. Okay. Okay, BCP. With Nagios can identify the most critical components in the infrastructure like monitoring data centers, recovery alternatives, and we can planning, protection, optimization, and assurance. And this business continuity life cycle management is more important. We have critical personnel, facilities, computer system, operation equipment, priorities, process recovery, mitigation, maximum downtime before recovery operations, minimum resources required for recovery, long-term goal objectives and may include management enterprise, coordination personal activities, budget considerations, and supervision third-party resource. Okay, with Nagios can do BCP because we can do the planning, we can do protection in create the life cycle for optimization of resources in the infrastructure. Okay, government regulations. In Latin America has cases and regulations for the government. The governments implement rules for the financial institutions, banks, assurance, and others. Create resolutions for compliance in this business. Nagios XI compliance as a tool for the resolution JM 102 2011. Okay. In the history, in Guatemala, the CIV is entry government that check the banks, is allowing the banks, if don't bank comply something, I don't know, has multas in English, multa. Okay. Fine. Okay. And these resolutions have a different chapters. Okay. Chapter 1, technological risk management is process identify, measuring, monitoring, control, and prevent and mitigate technological risk. With Nagios compliance with this chapter, because with Nagios identify and monitoring and take the control of the issues in technology. Okay, have a section 2, chapter 2, section 6, risk management unit, monitor the technological risk execution and maintain a historical records. With Nagios can maintain historical records because Nagios keep all information in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and I can see in the reports the availability, the some server. For example, I have a website server. I need knows the high availability, I can the history records, and we can comply with this chapter. Okay, and inventories on IT infrastructure with Nagios can have inventories, the infrastructure information system database, monitoring infrastructure and information systems, acquisition and implementation of infrastructure information, and IT service management. Okay, Nagios help with the banks. In Guatemala, banks use Nagios. Now, 11 that use Nagios, and more for this resolution. Okay, other countries, Panama has a law similar, help to Acuerdo 3/2000 risk management technology is similar, and Nagios help to compliance this law, the government. Ecuador signs 25 has a resolution operational risk management. Nagios help to Ecuador and banks for compliance this resolution. Nagios and policy compliance. Some example, Nagios interact with Sarbanes-Oxley, COBIT 5, COSO 2, ITIL 3, ISO 20000, and governance compliance. Okay, Sarbanes-Oxley. Nagios can help organization in monitoring areas and service, assessing and verify they are in trusted states. Is little history. How? Okay, we have this type of reports, graphs, history, document client results. Okay, reduction in total project time, year-over-year reduction in effective controls. With Nagios, we can do effective controls. Increase on operational audit activity. All companies have an audit department, and they stay with the IT maybe one time in the month and checklist. Okay, you compliance or not. Okay, Savernus Oakley and Nagios, we can the audit activity. Less times, analysis and reporting. We have reports, and decrease the external audit review in times, because the internal auditor is who check this, and it's not necessary has intervention of the external audit. Okay, with COBIT 5, maintain a goal is align the business drivers of the organization with management information. Okay, we have a lot of objectives. In this process, the governance in enterprise IT with Nagios, compliance with the deliver service and support, building, acquire, and implement, plan and organizations, because we can framework IT for organization, the strategy, manage the quality, risk management, service agreements, and the build, acquire, and implement. We have Nagios complies with manage configuration, manage capacity, monitoring, and deliver and service support, manage operations, service request, incidents of Nagios incident managers complies perfectly with the with this level. And monitor, evaluate, and assess. Monitor all infrastructure, evaluate. Okay. Cost 2. Under monitoring, while majority cost of frameworks apply to financial service, and this Nagios is internal control with this framework. Okay, how interact? Okay, event identification with Nagios can identify events, risk assessment, how will be the risk response, control activities, and monitoring. So interact perfectly with COBIT 2. And also, we can create strategic operations, reportings, and compliance. PCI is most common standard in the credit cards and debit cards. And with PCI compliance, Nagios with requirement 10 track, all monitor access to network resource holder data, and regularly test security system and process. Nagios has a system security. For start check, IDS has a IDS, open ports, and others. Okay, with Nagios, can the network security, data access, policy and procedures. We can comply with local monitoring, remote monitoring, security policies, firewall configuration, incident management, web vulnerability detection. All this graph is part of PCI.
Jorge, I just want to give you a 10-minute heads up right now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, other standard, I will keep the cap is for forensic, security, selection, implementing control, other standard too. So I go fast. Okay, the workflow. The actual workflow in the companies is user call help desk. I have incident. I need help. The second level, identify root cause and assist the customer. This is traditional. Okay, this is traditional. Well, web server partition full, and reports web access problem, ticket created, issues resetted, issue resolved, resolution validate, ticket closed. Traditional workflow with Nagios is display the service warning status. Okay, the IT administrator knows I have a warning. What can I do? Okay, I translate this case to the help desk, open the ticket, know what is the root issue, help resolve this issue. Nagios continue monitor, second level, begin the troubleshooting, and either resolve the issues or involve a third level support. Is help desk flow, Nagios warning alert 80%, help desk alert on the partition web server, ticket created, issue resolved, Nagios clears warning alert, ticket closed. If you see this workflow compliance with ITIL for the service support level. Nagios and ISO 2000 service management and system. We can establish the CMS, resource management, govern process, capacity management, server continuity, resolution, control, and all the service delivery. ITIL 3, service life cycle. Incident manager is perfectly for this standard ITIL. Time for questions.
All right, we're going to open it up for a Q&A real quick. Does anybody have any questions?
How often are you audited for compliance by the government?
Pardon me?
Or how often are you audited for compliance?
Okay. How often?
Is it random, weekly, monthly?
For implement compliance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In all companies, in the bank companies, how many times? Maybe one times.
Which is okay. We used to get audited 5 times a year. First one is internal audit, okay,
Okay.
and then there's a external audit. Like we contract companies to get audited. Third one is state audit. State of Illinois would actually do it. And then we have a FDIC audit, and then we have a FRB audit. Okay, so most banks get 5 audits a year. Each audit is about 2 weeks.
It's a lot. In different countries, it's different times audit. Guatemala maybe is each 2 months. Audit, internal audit, external audit maybe 3 times in the year.
Any other additional questions? All right, how about a nice big round of applause one more time for Jorge Higueros with Consolmatic.